So I had started this series of shares with you of a topic on finding self. I've put self quite objectively, and I didn't say finding yourself or oneself. I just wanted to put self so that we are all objective to self, because this has got all our name on it. And I would like you to be objective to your own, to yourself, and think about the question that I've asked about finding self, losing self, keeping self. So what is self? Self is that which was created when your mom's egg and your father's egg united, and you were already formed. And in that formation, you were once a second old. And at that stage, there was nothing that can be similar to you. You were a unique cell that was already a full soul in existence, that only two processes can end its existence: miscarriage and abortion. At that level, self was already in existence. The second self started existing. It was so invincible at this stage, just a small liquid that can fit in the smallest of fingers. Now, when the self was in existence, the second it was in existence, remember, this self was once a second old. Today, it could be a big living human being, organ, that function with intelligence, but it was once a second old. When this self was a second old, it started needing others. And straight away, it was within context. And this is why self always has two cousins. It's self, others, context, in all times. As soon as self decided existing, there was others and there was context. Even if you're feeling lonely or you are alone, there are others involved and there's a context involved. So, how did these others become into existence as a partnership with self? The minute self was in existence in a first world, of course, which is the womb, it needed nurturing. It needed shelter. It needed others, and it was living within context. In this case, the womb, the pregnancy, the 9 months, and so forth. So, when that started, it later on, 9 months later, it was a fully fledged body of a very complex being called yourself, with limbs. It took 9 months for it to develop these limbs. It took 9 months for it to develop the tools that it will need in the second world. And in this 9 months, the context was different, which was a mother's womb. Who did it need? It needed a mother, the doctors, the nurses. And these were the people who were playing different roles to nurture the self. These are the others. Whether those others, you were aware of them, you were not aware of them, they were already there. They are already in existence. So in your life, there are others that are helping your journey to be better or bad. But here is the self. Now, in this womb, the self was very much intact. Together. Here is a unique soul that was born. Second later, 9 months later, the very soul was a complete organ, a complete human being that was born. Born with purity, nobleness, and with love, and with all the gift, and with all the limbs that it needs to progress in this second world. And then what happened in the second world? Others came in, context came in. And what was that context? Life. Life happened. And when life happened, the surroundings kept changing, advancing, and changing and advancing. And the intelligence of self kept progressing and also changing. And the very context kept changing. The body kept growing physically. The intelligentsia kept changing, exposure and so on. Society, villages were surrounding this very self. And what did the society do? It exposes self to all sorts of things. And while self was trying to navigate through life, self forgot itself. You forgot about who you are. You started trying to be. By hooks or crooks, you built an image, you built a different self, and dust came in the form of different adversities and sufferings that life's brought into your life. And when those dust and those challenges came in, they have a capacity to actually become fixtures in your life that look very permanent. Lethargy, laziness, procrastination existed, they came around, and all these play different role into slowing down a very speedy machine. Then you lowered your standard. Friends, peers who were surrounding you were there, and you wanted to lower the standard. If you put the standard so high, if you play big, who are you? Who am I? Who is this self that is playing all big, playing all perfect, playing all super? Because in your humility, you mixed humility with trying to fit in, with trying to actually imitate and be something that the world has presented to you, which is hopelessness, and living the life that can never dare strive for excellence. It must never dare strive for things that are actually an upright character, because they're too serious. They're too much of a higher reward. Just stay in the middle, stay in the mediocre, stay in the simplicity, and try to fit in to be like everybody. Try and learn normalcy. And that normalcy, when it became even abnormal, that is what you took as who you are, as yourself. And you've lost the connection with that unique self that had something unique so unique that it is unique than the 6 billion population put together in the world. You lost connection with that self. And right now, finding that self could be the biggest goal and could be the biggest success you will ever achieve in your lifetime.